The AFC Championship game is here, and we have the Buffalo Bills traveling to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you're like me, you probably didn't pick this matchup, but we honestly all should have predicted it and seen it coming. I mean, in the past few years, the Chiefs and the Bills have always played twice a year. One time in the regular season because Roger Goodell, he always gonna get his Josh Allen versus Mahomes game on primetime television. That's never not gonna happen. And then again in the playoffs, because these two teams have both been the perennial powers in the AFC, with the Chiefs 10 times out of 10 when it comes to playoffs, just always coming out on top. Like, it's so interesting. It's kind of funny how both these conference championship games are rivalries. Now, the NFC one with the Commanders and Eagles, that's a divisional rivalry. But this rivalry is just different. It's just a natural born rivalry that happened because both these teams have just been good at the same time. Both these quarterbacks have always been pitted against each other or compared to each other, even though should they be? Probably not, but that's what a lot of people like to do. So it's so nice seeing both these championship games just have two different type of rivalries in a way. So I'm very excited, and I think this game's going to be a very good one. One thing about these teams that are so interesting to me is they both kind of have had similar roads here. Both these teams in the divisional round, while they both got wins and they both were impressive wins, I think one was more impressive than the other. Neither of them was flashy. Like, none of these teams did anything spectacular. They just did what they did. They just done what they've done all year round and won games in a way that's just been what we have been accustomed to seeing them do all season long. I mean, the Chiefs beat the Texans by just playing Chiefs football, which is offensively we're just going to do enough. And now that it's playoff time, we have Travis Kelce, who during the regular season was looking like a shell of himself. Oh, now he looks like he's dipped into a little bit of his prime, and that's just what I think, should expect from him from now on. He's not going to be that good in the regular season, but in the postseason, he's gonna have a little bit left in the tank to give you something. And against the Texans, he gave them a whole lot of something. And then the Bills won. The Bills win over the Ravens was far more impressive to me because they did things that I didn't expect them to do, but they've been doing it all year, so I don't think it's that shocking that they were able to do it. I just didn't think the Ravens would let them do it. And it's the fact that the Bills, especially early on, was able to dominate both lines of scrimmage. They were able to run the ball as well as they wanted to, while also slowing down and stopping Derrick Henry for the most part. And it helped that they did it early on, and it helped that they were able to jump out to such a big lead that it didn't really matter down the stretch when they struggled to stop the run, when the Ravens had one drive when they just ran the ball down the field. And then in that game, Josh Allen really didn't have to do much, and that's not even a diss at Josh Allen. He just had to do enough to win the game, which was, hey, bro, don't turn the ball over. We're not going to take too many deep shots. Just make smart plays and play clean football and use your legs from time to time. And that's exactly what he did. And it's funny because he didn't outplay the quarterback across from him. He just made less mistakes. Lamar Jackson played a really, really good game, especially down the stretch, doing things that we have not really seen him doing in the postseason, which includes being clutch and leading a potentially game-tying drive. Of course, there was a drop by Mark Andrews that was really bad, and I know Mark Andrews is catching a lot of flack, and rightfully so, because he's a big reason why the Ravens lost this game. He dropped that two-point conversion, and then he had that fumble earlier in the second half, which I think was worse than the drop, because what are you trying to do, Mark Andrews? You're not that type of tight end. You're not a guy that makes people miss. You catch the ball and get what you can get, and then now all of a sudden you're trying to run backwards and be all special? Like, what? Like, yeah, you're a really good player, but you just can't be doing that time and place. And in a big game like that, you can't afford mistakes like that. And that's why when I look at Lamar, and while I'll be the first to say that this game doesn't diminish him and his legacy at all, he does hold somewhat blame for them losing this game. And that's not me trying to, poop on his party in any way, but it's just like, you can't have those turnovers, Those two costly turnovers in the first half is part of the reason that the Bills were able to hold a big lead over you going into the second half. And I know you played lights out in that second half, and I know you outplayed Josh Allen, but he did not make those mistakes. You cannot make those mistakes sometimes. I'm going to tell Lamar Jackson the same thing I told Josh Allen last year when they lost to the Chiefs. You just had to do more. And I know you played well, but we needed more out of you, bruh. You in that category, you in that echelon. You better get your third MVP. You know, the pressure on you is pressure that we rarely put on quarterbacks, but we put that on you because you are one of the best ones that I have honestly ever seen. You are going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You just need to play a little bit better for longer. That's the big thing. You know, that second half, like I said, was wonderful, but you just can't have the type of first half you did. You know, but I'm not going to take anything away from the Bills because the Bills went out there and they played good, solid, mistake-free football. And when you do that in the playoffs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come out with the victory. And when you play football that's riddled with a lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers, you put yourself in a position where it's going to be really hard to win that game. So I give all the credit to the Bills, but I also say the Ravens, you beat yourselves again. And that's just been a common theme for them, sadly. So, yeah, both these teams just did what they've done all year. It's just the Bills looked far more impressive because they were playing a better team, you know? And for the penalty thing in the Texans and the Chiefs game, the one thing I'm going to say about it is, yes, while those penalties, the second one was extremely questionable and the first one was just, I think, 50-50 to me. While, yes, those penalties were bad, that's not the reason the Texans lost. They lost because they couldn't protect their quarterback. They lost because while C.J. Stroud played great, he still struggles with sometimes setting the protection. They lost because the Texans need to get better at their game management. They lost because they lost Travis Kelce in the passing game at times. The Texans were not the better team. But, yeah, those penalties were bad. Mahomes does have a little flopping thing that is annoying and is very unlikable, but if the NFL is going to continue to let quarterbacks get away with this, I have no problem with it because he's just using the rules in his favor. It's on the NFL to change that. You can't have quarterbacks playing their own separate game. Yes, I believe you should protect them to some extent, but then other stuff is kind of a little bit wild. And when it comes to the Chiefs and the penalty thing, they don't even really have a big penalty discrepancy when you compare them to the teams they're playing. The main thing about the Chiefs is it's just the time of these penalties sometimes. And it feels like these are backbreakers that they get or lifesavers in their case. So, but I don't think they really have the refs on their side. That's not something I'll be willing to say personally. I just think sometimes the timing is a little bit questionable, if that makes any sense. Now, the first thing I'll say before I even get into the game stuff, I think this may be the Bills' best chance to knock off the Chiefs. And I say that because this Chiefs team this year does not feel like Chiefs teams in the past. And it's crazy to say that about a team that's 15-2, or in my eyes 15-1, because I really don't count that last game against them because they rested everybody. But it's like, even compared to last season, and last season we viewed the Chiefs as they were in a down year, this team is not as good as last year's team. I mean, offensively, they look the same because they're kind of dealing with some of the same problems, but these problems, I would say, are a little bit, worse than they were last year. I mean, yes, they're struggling to find the explosive play, but this year their line is worse. And yes, last year they had an offensive line problem and had a little bit of a tackle weakness. This year is just a flat-out problem. It's so much of a problem that they had to make Joe Tooley, their best guard, play tackle, which now opens up a whole nother weakness in your offensive line and kind of changes how you do everything. You can't run the ball the way you did last year because your backs aren't the same. Isaiah Pacheco was dealing with the injury. He literally broke his leg earlier this year, and he's back now, but he's not his same self, which is okay because it's kind of crazy to expect a dude to come back from a broken leg in the same year and look like the same player. Kareem Hunt is not the Kareem Hunt we used to see. So offensively, they're not as good. And even defensively, while they're still good, this is not the same defense. They're missing L'Jarius Sneed, and he was a big reason why this Chiefs defense was so good. And on top of losing him in free agency, they've just had a lot of injuries in this back end. So while this defense is still good in my opinion, I don't think they're as good as they were last year. And I don't foresee this Chiefs team being this bad in the future. Because for starters, offensively, they've just also had a lot of injuries to their receivers, which has kind of hindered their ability to be an explosive offense. Rashid Rice got hurt early on. Hollywood Brown missed a significant portion of the year and really was only able to get back in the mix of things like around week 16. This was the first year with Xavier Worthy, and I expect another off season with the Chiefs, another year to get him more ingrained in the offense, just his overall progression as a player. I expect this offense to be much better in coming years. And also, given the fact that The Chiefs are so good at drafting, and they're so good at filling holes in the draft and finding cheap, affordable, but also good replacements and solutions to their problems. I don't think this will happen again because the Chiefs don't strike me as the type of franchise that will get complacent. They want to get better. They want to keep this thing going on. If they win this year, they want to chase that 4P. And if they lose this year, oh, I guarantee they're going to come back with a vengeance, because in their eyes, it's always Super Bowl or bust. And it's not just their eyes. That's the expectation with them. And while I do believe this is the same type of, thing the Bills are going through, because the Bills, in my opinion, this is a retooling year for the Bills. The Bills are changing their philosophy in major ways right now. They're making their team more suitable around Josh Allen and more sustainable, to the point where they don't rely on him to do everything. Yes, they sometimes will need a Josh Allen Superman performance, because that's just life in the NFL, but it's not something they're going to need week in and week out with how they're trying to build this team. So while I think they're going to get better, the Chiefs will get better too. So this may be your best chance to knock them off and finally get over that hump and get to that Super Bowl that they've been waiting on for a minute. I mean, these past few years for the Bills, it's looked like they've had Super Bowl teams, but they just can't get over this hump. And who's to say? Maybe this is the year. Maybe I'm picking them. I don't know. Now, when it comes to the actual football being played, I have a few keys for both these teams and things I think they're going to need to do if they want to win this game, like I know they want to. Now, first and foremost, we're going to start off with the Bills, and one of the main things I need the Bills to do, it's please keep eyes on Travis Kelce, because even at his older age, like I said before, when it comes to the playoffs, he turns back into his prime a little bit. He dips back into that, the fountain of youth a little bit. And when it comes to Mahomes, especially right now with how this offense is, or with the fact that besides Travis Kelce, there's not too many weapons that he has had a long time rapport with. He goes to him whenever he needs a completion or a conversion. So just keep eyes on him, and you cannot lose him. Now, it's going to be difficult because, for starters, Mahomes and Kelsey's connection is just crazy good. Like, they play to each other so long. They know what the other one's doing without even looking at each other. They just had that thing going for them. I mean, this legitimately may be one of the best, quarterback receiver tight end duos we have ever seen. It's the best I've personally ever seen, but it may be the best of all time if we're actually being honest about this. And it may also just be tough because the Bills are going through a lot of injuries right now. Taylor Rapp is currently day-to-day with a hip injury, and Christian Benford, who is one of the best slot corners in the league, is currently in concussion protocol. And when you're playing the Chiefs, and especially this new version of the Chiefs that wants to attack the middle of the field so much, you need your safeties and linebackers to be healthy, and even your slot corners to be healthy to really deal with them. And so those injuries will play a big factor in this game if they are not able to go. But this Bills defense is also built in a way where they should be able to limit Travis Kelce and make things very, very tough for him. I mean, he didn't really have that good of a game when these two teams met earlier this year, but that is a really, really big thing to me, in all honesty. Now, shifting to the other side of the ball, shifting to the Bills from an offensive perspective, one thing I would love to see them do is attack these linebackers, because when it comes to the Chiefs, this defense is extremely solid. They don't have many weaknesses. But one place you can get them is putting these linebackers in space, making them have to guard these running backs out of the backfield. The Chiefs have had a little bit of trouble when it comes to stopping these receiving backs. And the Bills actually have a lot of backs that can really do that and be very effective. I mean, for starters, James Cook is maybe one of the more underrated backs in the league, and he's been having a really, really good year, and he's extremely versatile, and he's someone that Josh Allen trusts a lot in this passing game, so he can really kill you. Then you have Ty Johnson and Ray Davis, who are two young backs, but they're two backs that have been very, very good for this team. I mean, both those backs had very good and impactful games against Baltimore, and Bills want to win this game. They need to be heavily involved too. You need to really use a lot of these heavy sets. Use these tight ends. Use Dalton Kincaid. Use Dawson Knox to your advantage. I really do expect them to do that. And another name that could help kind of attack that middle of the field, because the Chiefs are dealing with some injuries when it comes to their safeties, is Khalil Shakir, who has been a receiver that has become someone Josh Allen really trusts. I mean, the last time these two teams played, he had a pretty good game, having 7 catches for 80 yards. So he's a guy that I could foresee having a big game this week, given who else will. I mean, ever since they traded for Amari Cooper, he's been a nice addition, but he hasn't done much, and he hasn't done much of anything pretty much in this playoffs. Now, they really honestly haven't needed him to, because in both their playoff games, they really haven't thrown the ball. They've leaned heavily on this run game and kind of been doing a great job of taking the pressure off of Josh Allen. But Khalil Shakur is someone that Josh Allen really likes, and he can help attack this middle of the field. Now, last but not least for the Bills, this may be the biggest thing, and this is still talking about their offense. Locate Chris Jones at all times. When it comes to this Chiefs defense, it's really built around the versatility of Chris Jones. This defense, without Chris Jones, is pretty good, but with him, it's one of the better ones in the league, because Chris Jones' ability to line up at D and D tackle and edge gives this team a type of versatility that not too many defenses have. And when it comes to Steve Spagnuolo, Chris Jones is his ultimate chess piece. When it comes down to it, he will line him up everywhere, and it really shifts how your protections are and what you want to do. Because we've seen in these previous matchups, last year in the playoffs, Chris Jones took that game over in the fourth quarter. He made a few very big plays to get the Chiefs on the field and stop the Bills from scoring, and I'm pretty sure he even was a big factor on that missed field goal they had late in the game that could have honestly won them that football game, or tied the game up or something. I forget the specifics, but I remember he was impactful on that too. And also, it's just like crazy seeing a 6'6" guy being able to go from D tackle to edge. Like, it's scary. So you must locate him at all times. You know how Tom Brady used to have the wristband, and on his wristband it said "Find Ed Reed"? I need Josh Allen to be locate 95, please, because he will take over this game. That's what I need on Josh Allen's wristband, because he does wear one. He does. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've looked at a lot of pictures of Josh Allen recently. Not trying to be weird, but I make thumbnails. But yeah, those are things that I need to see the Bills do if they want to win this game. Now, I think those are some of the non-negotiables, some things that they have to do. And if they don't do, I don't like their chances at all. Now, when it comes to the Chiefs' perspective, there is a few things I think I need them to do. And the main one when I look at this Chiefs team from a defensive perspective is limit Josh Allen's running ability. The thing about Josh Allen is, honestly, if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen would be the best dual threat quarterback in the league. And that's not a slight, because Lamar Jackson may be the best running quarterback, dual threat quarterback we have ever seen. Like, nobody's been able to do what he has done on such a big scale. But Josh Allen is not too far behind. And the thing that separates Josh Allen for a lot of these mobile quarterbacks we have in the league now is he's not only pretty fast, he's also just hard to take down. So you need to keep him contained and surrounded by big bodies. Those DBs are going to have a tough time bringing him down. It's rare you see somebody be able to sack Josh Allen on the first hit. You need multiple people to get to him. And also, the thing about his legs is when Josh Allen runs, this run game becomes very hard to stop. Without him, they do have one of the better run games in the league. With him, they have probably a top 5 run game. He gives this team, he gives this offense so much of a different look when he is using his legs. And the thing about the Bills are, they're ill-afraid to lean on him running the ball. They've done it quite a bit in this playoffs where they just gonna run him when they get inside the 5, because honestly, who is going to tackle him for real? I mean, he is a load to bring down. So I'm looking at the Chiefs. You have to find ways to make him not that impactful with his legs. He's going to get his because Josh Allen is that good of a quarterback, but you have to keep him contained, because the last time these teams met earlier this year, Josh Allen was their leading rusher, and he also had that rushing touchdown at the game that clinched the game for the Bills. His legs are very effective and could be the thing that shift this game in the Bills' favor. So you're going to have to just find ways to contain him and slow him down. Now, this next thing for the Chiefs may be the most important thing in this game for either team, in all honesty. The Chiefs need to find some type of way to get an explosive play. I know the Chiefs have gotten by this year without really needing to be that explosive, but it's something that I've always thought is going to bite them to some point, and I think this may be the week. And I know that they did have a 49-yard catch and run from Travis Kelce last week, but they're just going to need more than that. I mean, the Bills were the only team this year to beat the Chiefs at full strength. They were. And in that game, they weren't really able to generate too many big plays. I mean, Patrick Mahomes only threw for 196 on 33 attempts, which is like a 5.9 average, which is cool for running the ball, not for passing the ball. You need more explosiveness. You need big plays. I mean, the biggest catch, the longest pass in that game was for 31 yards. But if you take that out, Chiefs had no other pass go over 20 yards. They did not. And that's a problem. That is something you cannot have in this game. And that is something that killed you in the first matchup, and it will kill you again. Now, the one thing that is different about this matchup is Hollywood Brown will be there, because the first time these two teams played, he was not there. And him just being there is a big factor in and of itself. And I know he had 0 catches against Houston, but he did have a big downfield pass that I think was either dropped or knocked away or something. But that shows a willingness by the Chiefs to try to attack deep. They're going to have more of a willingness in this game. Hollywood Brown needs to be a factor. He needs to help stretch the field vertically, because they have a guy in Xavier Worthy that can help stretch the field horizontally, if that makes sense. Because the thing about Xavier Worthy is, I believe at some point in time he will be a nice downfield threat, but he's just not there yet. And the one good thing about Hollywood Brown being back for this team is that it's kind of allowed Xavier Worthy to settle in a role that is more suitable for him right now. And honestly, while I do believe Xavier Worthy has a nice upside, right now he is just quite simply a gadget player. And there's nothing wrong with that. But now that he's able to just be that and just be the guy that catches these screens, catches these drags, lines up in a bunch of different and funky ways, it's kind of been better for him and just his offense as a whole. And the Chiefs need to, in this game, find creative ways to get him involved, especially early. Build his head up with confidence, because you're going to need him down the stretch. You're going to. He may be your only avenue to really bust a big play in this game, in all honesty, because Hollywood Brown has yet to really do it since he's been back. I'm not counting on Travis Kelce having another 50-yard touchdown catch, because, shoot, that was the first time that's ever happened in his career. And he's older now. So them things are going to be hard to come by, and you're just going to need it, because, like I said, this running game, while it's been there, it hasn't been anything like you really worried about as a defense. Yes, they just get 3-4 yards a piece. Literally, that's what they do. But there's no big explosive ever since, Isaiah Pacheco has gotten hurt, and they've been figuring out ways to try and get him back involved. Kareem Hunt is not the same Kareem Hunt he once was, even with the Browns. He is not that player right now. He's still a solid, workable back, but he's not the same. They're going to have to find ways to get explosive plays if they want to win this game. When I look at this game and my prediction, I went back and forth on this for a long time, because my thing is, part of my mind is telling me the Bills are a better team, but it's like Mahomes on the side, and every time I picked against Mahomes in the playoffs, he's proven me wrong. Last year, I picked against them twice. I picked the Bills to beat them in the divisional, and I picked the Ravens to beat them in the conference championship game. And both times, Mahomes looked me in my eyes and said, so I don't know what to do. And it's like, I talked to my dad about this because he's a Chiefs fan. He told me if I pick the Bills, I'm disowned. And he obviously wants me to pick the Bills because he said, listen, every time you pick against Mahomes, you're wrong, so please do it again. And so, how I foresee this game happening, I foresee Josh Allen walking in, right? Women by his side. Well, not by his side, but his wife will be there. Also, congratulations, Congratulations on that, just winning in all areas of your life must be nice. Coming into this game, women on his side, with his shades on, Jaheim Allen in the building, ready to make some magic happen. And then Mahomes walking in with, I don't want his girl by his side, just Mahomes walking in. They facing off. And Josh Allen telling him, congratulations on winning back-to-back. But that three-peat is something that's never been done before. Mahomes like, well, it's about to be done. And Josh is like, nah, bruh. I'll let you get the next one, though, but not this one. I got the Bills winning this game. I think it's time for the Bills. I think the Bills want to win one. If the Bills want to get there, it's this year or nothing. And I think they understand that, too. And I think they, right now, are just a better team. They're built in a way to do this, and I feel like they're just going to get the job done. I have faith. I believe in my Lord and Savior Josh Allen right now. And I know I may look stupid because Mahomes has a tendency to make me look dumb. But Josh, come on, bro. It's your chance. This is your year, Like, the MVP is not going to him. It's not, because Lamar had such a fantastic regular season. But you can go get that Super Bowl if you really want to. And with that being said, I predict we're going to get an Eagles versus Bills Super Bowl. And that means two of the craziest fan bases in New Orleans. In New Orleans. It's going to be electric. It's going to be electric. But yeah, that's how I kind of foresee this game going. I could honestly be wrong because, yeah, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong because it's Mahomes on the other side. And Mahomes is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Yes, I've seen Tom Brady. I've seen him. I'm not that young. I may be young. I ain't that young. I think Mahomes is better. But I'm going to pick the Bills to go into Kansas City and pull off this upset. So, yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments section if you agree with me. What are your takeaways about this game? What do you personally think? Give me advice. Let me know. Tell me how your day going. You know, it's just whatever. Let me know. Because I may actually be wrong. And I may just want to talk to somebody after I look stupid on the internet once again. So, yeah, I love y'all. You know, please don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. And I love y'all. Mahomes about made me look dumb.